Welcome, and thank you for tuning in. If you enjoy this video, we invite those of you who haven't yet done so, to like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the notification icon, to be notified when the next one is uploaded. In today's video, we will be looking at the Lewis Hamilton takeaway from the BBC Sport F1 coverage of the Austin GP, as set out on their homepage. It is necessary to state that the BBC is the biggest news website in the world, and unfortunately this causes many outside of the UK to accuse it of being partial to its home audience. Their coverage of the Austin GP is understandably filled with articles and clips on the title race between the two Belgians Lando Norris and Max Verstappen. This is in keeping with its public charter to extol the British values of accuracy, impartiality, and fairness, while reflecting the United Kingdom, its culture and values to the world. A review of the BBC Sport F1 homepage shows that Lando Norris is featured in 10 of the captions for the 37 articles and thumbnails, while his rival Max Verstappen is featured 7 times. Perhaps the difference can be accounted for by the fact that Lando is also a British national. So, it is understandable that the British driver competing for the world title is receiving that level of coverage from the BBC. Even if, as some would say, that Lando has absolutely no chance at all, and it's just the BBC trying to gas him up, then that is still keeping to its license fee-funded charter duties. All well and good so far. Okay, let us see how the BBC compares with others, starting with Sky Sport, the official broadcaster for Formula One. With the Sky Sport F1 homepage, we find that Lando is featured in 13 of the 29 thumbnails and captions, while Max is featured in 8. But hang on a minute, there is another Briton that comes into play, namely Lewis Hamilton, the ultimate F1 champion, or put in another way, the greatest of all time. He is featured 3 times on the Sky Sport F1 homepage, including the 4th and 5th thumbnails, because this was the first time that the GOAT had ever spun out in his illustrious 18-year career. So, you can see how this would be a newsworthy event, including the team principal's explanation that it was a problem with the car that caused his British teammate to also spin out at the same place. This therefore raises the question of why the BBC coverage made no reference to Sir Lewis at all. Okay, let us move on and see how others covered the race. The hosts themselves had it evens, as both Lando and Max were featured 7 times each in 20 thumbnails and captions. The ultimate F1 champion was featured twice, including a video of his historic spin. So, of all the main broadcasters, it was the BBC that ghosted the Black British champion, universally recognised as the greatest of all time, and the greatest sportsman Britain has ever produced. Okay, no problem, let us move on to the search engines and see what they throw up. To underscore the influence of the BBC, as the biggest news website in the world, the third thumbnail that a Google search for Lando Norris threw up was the lead article on the BBC Sport F1 page. This is the same article that came up as the second thumbnail in a Google search for Max Verstappen. 2 BBC articles were featured in total on the first search page. For Lewis Hamilton, his historic spin was the main subject of practically every thumbnail that the Google search threw up. Nothing from the BBC came up on this search page. For MSN, the results were as follows. The search for Lando Norris again yielded the lead article on the BBC Sport F1 homepage as the 7th thumbnail. The search for Max Verstappen produced the most results from the BBC. There were 5 articles in total from BBC UK and BBC International, including one whitewashing the theft of Sir Lewis's 8th title in Abu Dhabi, and another celebrating him ending Sir Lewis's reign, as he went on to become double world champion the following year. Now, remember how it could be argued that the BBC was bigging up Lando Norris, even though he wasn't realistically involved in a title race, but more like a race for second place with the fast-approaching future teammate of Sir Lewis. No matter, let us move on. In a similar manner to the Google search, the MSN search produced a flurry of thumbnails about the historic spin-off by F1's Ultimate Champion, from everyone but the BBC. Not only that, but not one item from the BBC came up on the search page. Now let that sink in. The British Broadcasting Corporation, the biggest news website in the world, that contributed results to Google and MSN searches for Max Verstappen and Lando Norris, produced no results for Sir Lewis. Furthermore, the most results that the BBC produced were for Max Verstappen, and exclusively included results that whitewashed the theft of Sir Lewis's 8th title, and celebrated the ending of his reign to boot. Yes, you heard that right, the British Broadcasting Corporation leading the celebration of the robbery of the greatest British sportsman ever. What we are witnessing is the systemic deconstruction of Sir Lewis's legacy by the license fee-funded British Broadcasting Corporation. They are doing everything they can to depress the black British goat's legacy at the expense of the white Dutch cheat or any other white driver that they can find. And all this is happening in broad daylight. If you have stayed with us up till this point and are motivated to do something regardless of where you are accessing us from, then would like to urge those of you who haven't yet done so, to sign our online petition for an inquiry into the running of the BBC and Channel 4. A link has been provided in the description. If you are on X, then please repost our tweet. If you have already signed, then please share the petition and this video with as many people as possible. If you are in the UK, contact your MP. And whether you are in the UK or anywhere else in the world, you can complain directly to the BBC. We will be posting further videos on our sister channel at FN&C, showing how the BBC and Channel 4 are being manipulated to turn the public against the current government, so that the Tories can return to power to complete their sale to John Malone. Whatever you do or are doing, please keep us updated on the comment section or on Twitter. Thank you.